Welcome back everyone. This lecture will briefly look at the structure and the function of our heart. We will discuss the pathway that blood will take as it travels through our body through the network of blood vessels. We will also discuss heartbeat and blood pressure. Structure of the human heart. The heart is a muscular organ about the size of a closed fist that functions as the body's circulatory pump. It takes in deoxygenated blood through the veins and delivers it to the lungs for oxygenation before pumping it into the various arteries. The arteries provide oxygen and nutrients to body tissues by transporting the blood throughout the body. For your examination purposes, you would need to be able to draw a simplified version of the heart, especially if you are preparing for CXC examinations, and you should be able to label the main structures of the heart. Drawing a simplified version of the heart can assist you in recalling the different parts of the heart. So let us examine the structures of the human heart. The heart contains 4 chambers. The right atrium, right ventricle, and left ventricle is shown in the diagram. The atria are smaller than the ventricles and have thinner, less muscular walls than the ventricles. Can you suggest a reason for this difference? The reason for this is because the atria simply pumps blood towards to ventricles. However, the ventricles would have to pump blood to different parts of the body, therefore they need more muscles to generate the needed force to push the blood. The chambers on the right side of the heart are smaller and have less muscle in their heart wall when compared to the left side of the heart. The right side of the heart is involved in pulmonary circulation, that is, it carried blood from the heart to the lungs, but the left ventricle pumps blood all the way to the extremities of the body. Therefore, it requires more force to do this. Now let us identify the main structure of a human heart. Pulmonary artery. Pulmonary vein. Left atrium. Bicuspid valve. Left ventricle. Aorta. Right atrium. Tricuspid valve. Right ventricle. Vena cava. We will now look at how blood flows through the heart. Let us begin by tracing the path the blood takes by starting at the lungs, since this is where the blood becomes oxygenated. So after the blood picks up oxygen, or after oxygen dissolves in the capillaries that surrounds the alveolus, the blood travels into the pulmonary vein. Blood then enters into the heart, into the left atrium. In order to allow the blood to enter, the atrium would first have to relax. As it relaxes, it increases its volume, so blood can enter. The left atrium then contracts, which creates a force that pushes the blood through the bicuspid or the mitral valve. These valves basically prevents the backflow of blood. The blood enters the left ventricle, which is relaxed. After blood is filled in the ventricle, the bicuspid valve must be closed. The ventricle then contracts and forces blood out of the chamber, and into the aorta. The aorta is the largest artery in our body. All the blood that leaves the heart leaves through this artery, which branches into arteries and then arterioles. The arterioles then divide further into capillaries, and the gases and nutrients are exchanged. The capillaries then merge into venules, and then into veins. All the small veins will merge into the vena cava. There are 2 vena cava as you can see on the diagram. The superior and the inferior vena cava. They bring deoxygenated blood to the heart. The blood enters the right ventricle, passes through the tricuspid valve, and then enters the right ventricle in a similar process compared to the left side of the heart. The blood is then pumped from the right ventricle and enters the pulmonary artery. This artery carries blood to the lung, where the blood gets oxygenated once again. That basically explains how the blood travels from the heart to the rest of the body and towards the lungs. Can you name the parts indicated on this diagram? Pause this video and make an attempt. I will reveal the answer at the end of this video. The next important concept that I wish to discuss here is called double circulation. This type of circulation is found in mammals. In double circulation, blood flows through the heart 2 times. To further understand this, let us look at the 2 parts of double circulation. One is called pulmonary circulation. The diagram on the right will aid in understanding this concept. In pulmonary circulation, the blood is traveling between the heart and the lungs. This is to simply take away deoxygenated blood, or to take oxygenated blood towards the heart. The distance between these 2 organs are not so far, and that explains why the right ventricle of the heart has less muscles when compared to the left ventricle. Next we have the systemic or systematic circulation. This involves the movement of blood from the heart to all parts of the body, and back to the heart again. So to recap, one movement is the blood is moving to the lungs and return, and the second movement is when blood moves from the heart to the rest of the body. Thus we call this double circulation. Now to reveal the answers to the question that was asked before. Do you have your answers already? Structure A will be the pulmonary vein that takes blood from the lung to the heart. Structure B is called the bicuspid or mitral valve. Structure C is called the left ventricle. Structure D is indicating the inferior vena cava. And structure E is indicating the aorta.